It's my new project when I get off. I'm going to get into TikTok.
If you believe, as I do, that there is no separation between the CCP and a Chinese company who can disappear a CEO for 4 weeks, if you believe that the CCP has a vested interest...
You're talking about the Communist Party in China. Okay.
And if you believe the CCP has a vested interest in diminishing our standing globally, and then you also acknowledge that people under the age of 18 are spending more time on TikTok than they're spending on every streaming network combined, are we comfortable, are we down with an organization that wants to undermine America controlling the media our children see? It should be banned, full stop.
Whoa.
In today's video, we're going to have a heated debate on real time with Bill Maher. Here we have some back and forth questioning between Bill and our guests, as well as some interesting questions. Who's really to blame for America's decline? Is it the shadowy hand of the Chinese Communist Party manipulating our youth through TikTok, as Scott Galloway warns? Or are we simply victims of our own moral and cultural decay, as Wynton Marsalis suggests? In a world where teenagers spend more time swiping than thinking, the battle isn't just about an app. It's about who controls the minds of the next generation. Is banning TikTok a solution to a global existential threat, or just a distraction from the corruption eating away at America from within? Brace yourself for this explosive debate between nationalism, introspection, and the uncomfortable truth.
That's going to be hard. You look at TikTok, Marsalis?
Man, I don't.
I
can't even see it. I can't see the icons to get on stuff. No. I don't.
You have glasses?
No, but you know, of course, I have kids, and everybody is on TikTok. I don't look at these governments that way. We're corrupt. We do corrupt things. We need to get ourselves together. That's my thought as an American. And also, okay, the Chinese, they're Chinese. The Chinese are here, they get an education, they're doing what everybody's doing. I got lost in China. I got off a plane in China once out of fear.
Yep.
And I said, I'm gonna take the train to the next place. Whew, man, that's a big country. You don't understand.
I thought you didn't fly.
No, well, I had to fly to China. I couldn't walk, couldn't swim.
You can take a boat. You can take a slow boat to China.
But when you get out in the country of China, it's very different from the country of America. Man, it's huge. And there are plenty of people who are in a type of semi-slavery in China.
Yes.
We're not talking about them. We're talking about, man, the evil Chinese are doing this in TikTok. They're taking our information. We're taking our own information.
We're providing them with all the ammunition they need, but right now you have young people who believe that socialism is better than capitalism, and that is just wrong. And the reason why they believe that is because I believe we've provided them with a lot of fodder. You have a lot of content that is very pro-America. A lot of the stuff you talk about reflects us in a positive light. A lot of the stuff you talk about reflects some of the issues and problems we have here. I believe the CCP would be stupid not to put their thumb on the scale of content that makes us look bad, such that young people grow up and think capitalism isn't working, that our elections have been weaponized, and there's some truth to all of that. But the Chinese, who I think are very smart, have said, Twitter, Facebook, Meta, no, we're going to keep that shit out, but it's good for you. No, full stop, they're out. This is an existential threat for national security.
Speaking of stuff that's not good for us.
As TikTok hooks an entire generation with endless scrolling, Scott Galloway warns of a far more sinister agenda, a Chinese Communist Party plot to erode American values, fuel distrust in capitalism, and manipulate young minds. To him, banning TikTok isn't just an option, it's a national security imperative. But Wynton Marsalis flips the mirror back on America, arguing the real threat isn't Beijing's schemes but the rot within, corruption, moral decay, and a system failing its people. Is TikTok a CCP-engineered weapon, or just a convenient scapegoat for America's deeper problems? The answer might depend on whether you're looking across the Pacific or into the American soul. Galloway frames this as a matter of survival, protecting national security, sovereignty, and America's global influence. By banning TikTok, he argues the US would block an adversarial power from influencing its citizens and reclaim control over youth-focused digital spaces. Yet, Marsalis challenges America to clean its own house first, addressing corruption, cultural decay, and a broken relationship with technology. This debate isn't just about TikTok. It's about whether the true existential threat lies overseas or within America's borders.
It is an interesting question. for liberals to be, like, hey, let's have open borders or close to it. And then when they come, but it's not in our states, and the Texas governor kind of called their bluff. It was like, well, you like immigrants so much? Have some of ours.
I think it's worth pointing out that the term sanctuary cities doesn't actually mean people say, we want you illegal immigrants to come here. It's a term that was not invented, but certainly championed by Rudy Giuliani in the 90s. It's the idea of if someone has committed or has witnessed, more likely, a crime in a major city, you're going to see some illegal immigrants there. So what we're saying is we're not going to share that information with the federal government to deport people. Right. That is the sanctuary they're talking about. It's a sanctuary from federal deportation laws. And we do this because we want illegal immigrants and everybody to be able to talk to the cops. So Republicans have been dining out on the term sanctuary cities for a long time, even though they used to support it. And Republicans in Texas, former Governor George Bush, as a prime example, used to champion their border with Mexico as like, we're different than the Pete Wilson politics of California. We actually have a lot of commerce and trade with Mexico. We like that. I lament that Republicans no longer have that spirit that you used to see in the Bush family and with Ronald Reagan, too, about welcoming immigrants.
When Texas Governor Greg Abbott sent buses of migrants to Chicago, he didn't just expose logistical strain, he exposed a glaring contradiction in progressive policies. Sanctuary cities, hailed as safe havens for immigrants, promised to resist federal deportation efforts. But what happens when the reality of migration lands on their doorsteps? Are these cities truly welcoming, or does their tolerance end where their resources begin? Abbott's move forces an uncomfortable reckoning. Is this compassionate governance or political posture disconnected from practical consequences? For all the calls to embrace open borders, the cries of "not in my backyard" grow louder, revealing the hypocrisy festering beneath the rhetoric.
But that's not really what this is about, is it? It's about, there seems to be some hypocrisy about welcoming them, but not in my backyard. That's what seems different about this.
But this is about terminology. It's like how education works in America. You don't see black people in schools, really. But you hear they're going to take all your jobs. You have to be careful. These people are coming. Well, where are those people? Who are these people that are coming? Neighborhoods, people stay poor forever, Democrat, Republican. Where's all the help? We backed away from that civil rights movement and ran from it on the right and the left. Where we have all these geniuses. Where's the lower class economic infrastructure that brings blood to fingers and toes? Oh, you're a finger, too bad. This is only for the heart. But we're good with terminology. Any type of fake term, a sanctuary city, it sounds good. Nobody knows even what that is. Mm-hmm. Then the expert tells you what it is, and you're going, oh, okay, that's good to know. We don't want them here.
Back east recently, first we landed in Newark and drove through. I never drove through Newark, and then we were heading toward the hotel in New York. So we drove through Newark, and then we drove up like Madison Avenue. And it was like, talk about two different worlds.
Where's the economic infrastructure for lower class people from all the geniuses who come up with systems? Where is it?
Well, my question is like, I so understand the cynicism of people because it's what you just said about Democrat, Republican.
That's fake.
I mean, it doesn't seem to change no matter who's in office. I sort of understand why people just want to break shit.
Stealing money is the only thing that remains. And the thing we have to do is not confuse corruption with the systems that are corrupted. It's like somebody say, well, I don't like religion because priests do this or this. It's not the religion that's doing it. When people first started taking photographs, it was always of naked people. So people were against photography. Oh, we can't have this photography. It's not the photography. So we have to, it takes a lot of integrity to have a democracy. And we're very short on that.
Critics argue that sanctuary policies are rooted in moral rhetoric, but often fail under the weight of economic and logistical realities. These cities, while proudly declaring themselves safe havens, are frequently unprepared to handle the strain of large migrant influxes, resulting in overwhelmed housing shelters, overburdened healthcare systems, and stretched education resources. For example, New York City, despite its sanctuary status, faces skyrocketing costs exceeding $4 billion annually to care for migrants, prompting Mayor Eric Adams to warn that the crisis could destroy New York City. Conservatives contend that such policies undermine federal immigration laws by restricting local law enforcement from cooperating with agencies like ICE, allowing undocumented immigrants, including those with criminal records, to remain within communities. Furthermore, critics highlight a perceived hypocrisy. Leaders who advocate for open borders and compassion toward migrants often protest loudly when those very migrants arrive in their cities, exposing a not in my backyard mindset. This selective tolerance, they argue, reveals the performative nature of sanctuary policies, which prioritize virtue signaling over practical, sustainable solutions that consider both migrant needs and local resources. What do you think about the content we bring? By leaving a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to watch many other interesting videos. Thank you.